What's going on, y'all? Chuck Nunface here. Just want to take a few minutes to talk about this knife right here. Quick overview / first impressions. I got this Microtech Ram-Lok stitch in a few days ago, and I've just been kind of checking it out. If you follow me on Instagram at Chuck_Nunface, you would have seen me post it a couple of times here. And it's one that I like. Initially, I think the knife overall is pretty damn good. I think it's well executed. I think it's a solid value at the price point. But there are a few things, just at least initially, that I don't love about it, and I'll kind of go into that. But like I said, I'm kind of holding off on doing an actual full review of this one. And I also want to get pretty soon I'll have a classic stitch, the automatic stitch in hand, to kind of do maybe a comparison, so I can compare, the old stitch, the traditional style stitch, with this new manual Ram-Lok stitch, and kind of just do a comparison and also kind of refresh my mind on it as well. If you go back in my videos, probably about a year and a half ago, maybe I'll link it in the description, I did a review of the automatic stitch, but I haven't really handled one since then, and I really want to kind of get my hands on both and do a comparison. I will say this though, the execution is excellent. I think it's very well done. It's very well made. If you watch YouTube reviews on the new Ram-Lok models that Microtech has been bringing out, you may have seen reports of loose locks, and maybe the lock face itself isn't fully engaging with the tang, or it's not engaging enough to make it a more of a fail resistant locking mechanism. I will say, and as you can see here, this one is, what is the year on this? Yeah, so this is just January of 2024. So this is brand new. This is, it's February right now, and so this knife is basically a month old, maybe less than a month old even. So it's brand new construction, brand new production, I should say. I have not noticed that on any of the later model Ram-Loks that have come out from Microtech. So not on this one, not on the MSI that I have, and not on the Amphibian that I have either. It's not going to be on camera, but I'll do a quick whack on my steering wheel. Nothing happening there. So definitely very good. These are running on bearings. And of course this is the G10 version as well, so it's got the fluted G10. Ideally, I would probably want the aluminum. I love my aluminum Amphibian. I'm going to do a review on that one too. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel. If you haven't done so already, it's going to be in that corner right there. You can just click on that button there and just subscribe to the channel. So hit that alert button too, so you know when I have new content coming out. But yeah, so initial impressions of this knife from a construction standpoint, it's excellent. The ergos are good. The action's great on it as well. It doesn't hesitate. That was another thing with the older ones that some people were complaining about. The action felt kind of loosey-goosey, especially on the MSI. There really wasn't enough detent strength. This doesn't have a true detent, but for lack of a better term, that spring that's in there in the Ram-Lok is going to be what pushes it up, against the blade, pushes this locking mechanism into the tang. And so if it's kind of a loose spring, or if it's not tuned right, whatever. I mean, I didn't design the knife. I'm not a knife designer or anything like that. But it will kind of have kind of a mushy feel, for lack of a better term, in the action. I don't notice that on this. I don't notice it on the MSI, and I don't notice it on the Amphibian either. One thing that a lot of reviewers are saying, and it kind of bugs me a little bit on these Ram-Lok models, is they're always comparing it to the axis lock and crossbar locks and things like that. It's really more akin to a Manix ball bearing lock. I think that's a more apt description to it. So if you ever held the Manix, there's a couple other models that Spyderco has, or had at least, that utilizes that type of lock. It's much more like that than it is, like a crossbar lock in its construction, with a spring, the single spring, kind of almost like a ballpoint pen, a clicky pen, that type of spring right there, as opposed to, what a crossbar lock uses, which is going to be, well, in Benchmade's case, it's going to be the Omega style springs in there. The clip, I haven't noticed any issues with this clip. I think the clip is fine. Some people have said the clip is very weak. Maybe they've changed it. I don't know. I think it's pretty good. I haven't gotten it snagged on anything, but like I say, I haven't had this knife for very long or my MSI for very long, so I haven't encountered any issues. Just looking at it too, one of the things I noticed is that this forward choil is much more pronounced on this model because there is no additional sharpening choil like it would be on the auto. So rather than do a redesign and bring this blade back another half an inch, quarter inch, half an inch, whatever it would be, they've just widened the choil. Now maybe they need to do that just from a design standpoint, the way the Ram-Lok is and how the blade needs to sit behind it. So it actually kind of looks like that might be the case. But it would have been cool to see a design incorporated that could actually give you a little bit more cutting edge than what you have right here, instead of just making the choil bigger, because it's really only got about a 3-inch cutting edge right there, and that's about all you get with this knife. And then typical of what I've seen with the MSI as well is the deep carry pocket clip, and actually my shirt's a good backdrop. You can see right there those screws sit really proud. It would be nice to see those screws countersunk. I mean, honestly though, when you're putting it in the pocket, it's not really an issue. When you're taking it out of the pocket, you can kind of put your thumb right around there when it's coming out of the pocket. It kind of makes it nice having those screws right there. But those screws sitting proud is really kind of not great, and I think they could do better than that when they're making these. I think they could do a little redesign, or just use off-the-shelf hardware and do some countersinking with those screws to make it flush. But yeah, that being said, other than that, I mean, it's a great knife. Now, if you don't love the stitch design, the manual stitch is probably not going to, change hearts and minds. It's not going to win you over if you don't already love, the stitch. If you really like the stitch design and wanted to see what it would be like in a manual, or you don't prefer automatic side opening knives, or you can't carry them or you choose not to carry them based on legal restrictions in your area, I think this is a great alternative. But, all that being said, if you don't already like the design of the stitch, this knife's not going to change your mind about that. So you probably wouldn't want to get something like this anyway. But yeah, this is just kind of first impressions. I like the knife. Oh, one last thing, super sharp. Kudos to Microtech. Nothing I've gotten from them has been less than just really, really sharp from the factory. So they're doing a great job with factory sharpness. So kudos to Microtech on that, certainly. But yeah, that's going to do it. Like I say, I think I'm going to do another video once I get a classic stitch, an automatic stitch in hand, kind of do it side by side, maybe do a full review of this one as well. But I just kind of wanted to put this out there, get it out there, get my initial impressions out on video and share them with y'all. So if you have any questions, hit me up. Go ahead and leave a comment, share the video. I certainly appreciate that. Subscribe to the channel, turn on those alerts. I definitely appreciate that as well. And I will catch you on the next one. Peace.